right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Weather whiplash. After a chilly morning Tuesday, we're timing out thunderstorm chances later this week.
Tonight, hitting home. Team coverage of how the conflict in Gaza is affecting families here. A daughter trapped.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little, yes, it's nerve-wracking. It's a nightmare over there.
A local family desperate to get her back to St. Louis. This as a woman born in Missouri dies while shielding her son from bullets.
Tonight, at least 11 Americans are dead. More U.S. citizens could be missing as the fighting intensifies between Israeli forces and Hamas. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Allred.
And I'm Mike Bush. More than 1,200 people have died in the fighting. A vast majority of the victims are civilians. Tonight, unrelenting airstrikes continue as Israeli ministers order a complete siege of the Gaza Strip following this weekend's surprise attack by Hamas. The Palestinian militant group is now threatening to kill hostages for every new civilian home in Gaza bombed without warning.
Tonight, we're hearing from the father of a Missouri native who was one of those 11 Americans killed by Hamas. And he says she died protecting her son. According to our NBC affiliate KOMU in Columbia, Deborah Matthias was born in Boone County. Her father, Ilan Trone, is a former professor at Mizzou who now lives in Boston. He says he was on the phone with his daughter when she told him she heard gunshots.
And then she reported broken glass. And that was really the last we heard from her spoken. The next we heard was from her son saying, hey, Metu, they're dead.
Matthias' husband was also killed in that attack. Their 16-year-old son, Rodam, was under their bodies, covered in blood. Incredibly, Troen and other relatives kept his grandson on the phone through text, helping him hide for 12 hours from Hamas militants with a bullet wound to his stomach.
They at one point set fire to all the houses with the expectation that if there were any survivors, they would run outside and they could shoot them.
The teen is recovering tonight at a hospital and is expected to live.
A Chesterfield family is desperately seeking help from our elected officials in Washington. Their daughter, who is on vacation in Israel, can't get out, and her fiance has now joined the fight.
I'm not gonna lie, it's a little, yes, it's nerve-wracking. It's a nightmare over there.
These are sleepless nights for Lyndon and Earlene Anderson from Chesterfield. Their daughter Morgan sharing harrowing videos from a war-torn Israel.
She had to run to a bomb shelter because the sirens went off. And there's just a intensity. I'll admit she's terrified.
Morgan and her fiance Jake embarked on a journey to Israel just last Wednesday. It was a getaway after a joyous occasion.
They got engaged last Wednesday in front of the Jewel Box.
A graduate of Westminster Christian Academy and Webster University, she converted to Judaism.
She fell in love with the religion. It was her ideal. It worked for her.
But now, amidst the turmoil, Morgan faces this ordeal alone as Jake, a reservist with the Israeli Defense Forces, answered the call of duty.
It was hard for her at first, but there's this intense need to protect the homeland. Israel is just a tiny little country the size of Rhode Island in the middle of a massive Middle East.
It's nerve-wracking because, I'd just like to go over there and either just get her out.
And that's Morgan's goal, to find a safe way out of Israel. Her parents desperately hoping for help from some of our elected officials.
Of course there's hostages, and that's more important. We've got to get the hostages out. But then could you help get the remaining Americans out of Israel?
Now, I briefly texted with Morgan tonight, and she wants to emphasize there are so many worse situations than hers right now. We connected with the Andersons and Senator Eric Schmidt's office tonight, and they're hoping to help find a way to get Morgan out of harm's way. The family reached out to me because they saw our special last week on anti-Semitism, Race, Listen, Learn, Live. You can stream it right now on 5+ and YouTube.
It's been a scary few days for a Missouri church group. They were in the middle of a Holy Land trip when the war broke out around them. 5 on her side's Tracy Hinson has the story of how they got out of Israel and what they want international travelers to know.
And between canceled flights and closed border crossing, the past 24 hours have been a scramble for members of Darden Prairie's Morning Star Church. They are in Jordan now, a place they expect to be safe from conflict. What started as a joyful pilgrimage to Israel turned into an urgent call for help.
Had fired a bunch of missiles into Israel.
It was early Saturday morning when the news hit home.
At about 1 a.m. on Saturday, one of the members, Kevin Darnell, called.
He missed it, but when he got back in touch, he heard what was happening.
I know they heard sirens. I know there's a lot of concern.
Flights were canceled. The group needed to get out.
The size of that country, if it's 40 miles away, I think 40 miles is basically me in Lake St. Louis to the city of St. Louis, and that's about half the country. So you're very close to fighting wherever you are there.
Not knowing quite what to do, on a Sunday, he called a friend who got the group in touch with Senator Eric Schmidt's office.
And the first time you call out to a U.S. senator, one of 100 people in the entire country, you don't expect immediate results. There was no lag. There was no lag. It wasn't make a call and 5 hours later you hear back. It was minutes between phone calls. It was just absolutely amazing.
Senator Schmidt's staff providing some much-needed assurance for the group overseas and important help with paperwork.
You actually have to ask the government to intercede in your benefit when you're out of the country. You can't just assume that they're going to do anything. There's a law saying that the U.S. government cannot interfere with you unless you ask.
All right, now hopefully you never have to use the crisis intake form issued on the Department of State website, but one you should fill out before any international trip is the Smart Travel Enrollment Program, or STEP.
Tracy, thanks. Tonight, the White House is lit in the blue and white colors of the Israeli flag in solidarity with one of the United States' closest allies. In a statement released hours ago, President Biden is vowing to work with the Israeli government on the hostage crisis. The president spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Sunday, pledging his full support of the government and people of Israel. A U.S. carrier strike group is now moving into the region. U.S. aid is also on the way, but a full-scale American response likely won't come until Congress is back in session and a new House Speaker is elected.
The first shipment of military assistance, including munitions, began to move yesterday and will arrive in Israel in the coming days.
This administration must also make clear that harming any American will result in the wrath of the United States.
Missouri Congresswoman Cori Bush is drawing criticism from within her own party by suggesting the U.S. should stop funding the Israeli military and its occupation of disputed territory. The Anti-Defamation League called the timing of the Congresswoman's remarks tone-deaf, heartless, and beyond reason. We'll continue to follow the latest developments on Israel, both on air and online at KSDK.com. You can also get updates on the 5 on Your Side app and 5+.
About an hour ago, the Florissant City Council unanimously approved a controversial plan that could turn a city park into a new subdivision. After taking several public comments, the council approved an ordinance giving Mayor Tim Lowry the power to transfer ownership of 30 acres of Coke Park to McBride and Sons for a new housing development. In return, the housing developer would give the city new parkland adjacent to Sunset Park. Many of those who spoke before tonight's vote opposed the plan.
You'll see this property, Coke Park, is probably worth 4 times the property McBride is offering you after accounting for the difference in acreage. I think that if Florissant needs newer housing stock, that's fine. That's your determination to make, but you need to make a good deal for Florissant.
The homes would range in size from 12 to 2,500 square feet, priced anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000.
A violent weekend in St. Louis. At least 4 teens were shot. 1 died during 2 separate shootings.
New tonight, our Robert Townsend reports police are still looking for the gunman and asking anyone with information to come forward.
Early Sunday morning, Uber driver George Thompson returned home to South St. Louis and couldn't believe what he saw on his street.
Police come up just as I got here, and by that time, it was just chaos.
Chaos after police say a shooting happened in the 3500 block of Compton near Gravois Park. Investigators say a 17-year-old boy suffered multiple shots and died at the scene. Paramedics took a 16-year-old boy to a hospital with a gunshot wound to his leg.
Come outside, watching his parents arrive, dropping, crying over kids.
Thompson shared these photos of the crime scene.
Had a lot of people running out of the neighbor house, and all kids, young, 15, 16, girls, boys.
Thompson says the gunfire rang out during a teen party at a vacant house used as an Airbnb.
They just went everywhere, and kids coming out yelling. A kid got shot in the head, dying on the bed. I'd even picked up a couple riders there earlier and took them home from the party.
Miles away, here on the city's north side, police are also investigating a separate shooting that involved teens. The two boys in this case, just 13 and 14 years old.
I'm shot, heartbroken.
Police say around 8 Saturday night, the 14-year-old flagged down an officer by Beckett Park near Page and Taylor. He told the officer he and the other boy had been shot down the street by Lewis Place and Newberry Terrace. As of Monday, 57 teens, 17 years old or younger, have been shot in the city. 9 victims died.
I just don't understand. The violence just needs to stop.
These kids, they have no idea what one little bullet can do to a whole family, to a neighborhood.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
Police say the 2 teens shot on the north side and the 1 south side survivor are expected to recover.
Charges have been filed in a deadly shooting that happened just blocks from a chili cook-off in downtown Belleville. Tonight, Omarion Williams is being held on first-degree murder charges. The shooting happened around noon Saturday around North 1st and West B Streets. Aaron Metz died. Investigators don't believe the shooting was related to the chili cook-off. A security guard is now charged in a deadly shooting at a Ferguson gas station. Police say Maury Adams got into an argument with a customer at the Quick Trip on West Florissant around 1:30 Saturday morning. The customer and Adams both pulled out guns and fired shots. The customer died. Adams faces voluntary manslaughter and armed criminal action charges.
Keeping your child safe inside their own home.
There are so many hidden hazards that exist within the home.
The special house here in Missouri designed to save lives. St. Louis University is upping its game for student athletes.
It sets a standard for the university and what kind of a program that it's going to be.
Tonight, we're taking you inside the new $20 million Champion Center built for Billikens.
Clear and quite cool right now, but there are significant changes coming later this week. Many of us could see some decent rain if that unsettled weather will stick around into the weekend.
Tonight, nearly 4,000 more United Auto Workers are on the picket line. The union rejected a tentative contract deal from Mack Trucks.
It included a pay raise, signing bonuses, and improved benefits. The UAW strike against the big 3 automakers is now in its 4th week. The union is at odds on new contracts with General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. The targeted strikes include thousands of workers at the GM plant in Wentzville. Today, GM made a new offer to the union. It includes a 20% pay raise, reinstating cost of living adjustments, an increase in the company's retirement contribution, and more paid vacation, holiday, and parental leave. No word yet if the union will accept. This has quickly become the costliest U.S. auto strike. Economic losses from the strike have exceeded $5.5 billion in the first 3 weeks. The previous record was held by the 2019 strike against GM, which cost $4 billion.
The Hollywood writers' strike is officially over. Tonight, members of the Writers Guild of America voted almost unanimously to ratify the new 3-year contract with studios. The 5-month-long strike shut down production of many projects and television programs. Actors remain in negotiations to end their own strike.
Every year, tens of thousands of children are hurt by products and appliances in and around their own home, many of which can be easily prevented.
Now there's a new hands-on way here in Missouri to help parents spot those hidden dangers. Tonight, Consumer Reports takes us inside a first-of-its-kind house created by a family, turning tragedy into saving lives.
On November 1st, 2007, Brett Horn's life changed forever. His 2.5-year-old son, Charlie, was killed while attempting to climb on a small dresser in his bedroom. Turning tragedy into a mission, Brett and his wife, Jenny, created Charlie's House, the nation's first safety demonstration home, designed from the ground up and dedicated to reducing at-home accidents and injuries. It opened in Kansas City in 2021.
It's a place where parents and caregivers can come and they can learn how to properly child-proof their home.
Whether it's unsafe sleep practices in a nursery, furniture prone to tipping over in the bedroom and living room, poisonous items, and choking hazards in the bathroom, kitchen, and laundry, or fire hazards. The goal, how to avoid them.
There are so many hidden hazards that exist within the home, and this house is a place that parents and caregivers can visit to learn about various hazards that exist and learn what they can do to prevent risks.
For years, Consumer Reports worked alongside parents like Brett and other safety advocates demanding tougher standards for furniture. The recently enacted Sturdy Act does just that, establishing a mandatory safety standard for clothing storage furniture like the dresser that killed Charlie. It will be enforced by the Consumer Product Safety Commission.
It means that consumers are going to have a safer offering when they go to buy new dressers. And consumers can also expect an agency, CPSC, to come forward with enforcement actions where appropriate, where we see noncompliance in the marketplace.
And sometimes as new products hit the market, new risks arise.
New products are always a concern, and so it's important to keep up to date with new guidance on safe sleep.
It's a never-ending battle advocates like Brett Horn and many others are embracing. Charlie's House offers virtual tours, and if you've experienced any unstable furniture or any other product safety issue, you can report it to the Consumer Product Safety Commission at saferproducts.gov.
The third largest lottery jackpot in U.S. history is up for grabs tonight. The Powerball prize has grown to more than $1.5 billion. Tonight's winning numbers: 16, 34, 46, 55, 67, and the Powerball, 14.
Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joins us now with the Weather First forecast, and he's still here. Have you checked your ticket, Scott?
You know, I forgot it's Monday night, so.
Oh, so
yeah, I don't have anything.
So you're going to be here for a while.
I think.
I mean, we're all lucky. Mondays are hard for everybody. You know,
Right,
we're lucky we just get to work. We get to eat our breakfast.
I need to walk outside into these cool temperatures to just kind of like perk
Wake
up.
Invigorate.
Yeah, invigorating is right. Troy's at 45, so is Millstop right now. Some of our outlying areas already down into the lower 40s. In town, most of us in the lower 50s. We do have clear skies. The winds are fairly light. A little breeze out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour, but Lambert's dropped back to 52. That is just 2 degrees above our low from this morning. We didn't make it to 70 today. We made it to 68, so just shy of that. Tomorrow we should make it back up around 70. Outlying areas, upper 30s. In town, probably mid 40s to head out the door tomorrow morning. Could there be a little bit of patchy frost in a few places? Sure, but it certainly isn't likely. A lot of clouds still around the Great Lakes. That big upper level system is just kind of meandering ever so slowly. So tomorrow our temperatures get closer to average, but we should have plenty of sunshine. And then as we start to make that transition to a warmer pattern here, as we head towards Wednesday and Thursday, that's when we'll see our chances for a little bit of rain increase. Kind of get the sense of that with the clouds building here out across parts of Kansas as we go through the day tomorrow. We're bright and sunny in St. Louis, but out to our west, there'll be some showers. And eventually, as we head towards daybreak here on Wednesday, a few scattered showers and thunderstorms are certainly possible. Don't think there's much of a severe weather threat. We're also going to say, though, that there is the potential a couple of those storms might have a little bit of hail in them, but we'll monitor the situation to see if it's going to be much of a threat. As we head through the morning, it looks like that area shifts on to the east. And for most of the day on Wednesday into Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, there shouldn't be a whole lot that goes on weather-wise, although there might be an isolated shower or thunderstorm. That's going to be the case going into Thursday, too, because this big storm system out to our west will be getting itself wrapped up. We're on the warm side of that. So Wednesday afternoon, Thursday afternoon, looking pretty warm. As long as we're ahead of that front, it's likely to stay at or above average here as we head into Friday. So Friday morning, most of the rain's just starting to push in from the west. It looks like this would be our most unsettled time during the day on Friday, and we should get some pretty decent rain across much of the area Friday sometime during the midday into the afternoon. Also a lot more wind here Thursday, Friday, even into the weekend. We have that annular eclipse on Saturday. Not sure we're going to get much of a shot at seeing it, at least not very well. And it's not like the total solar eclipse where, you know, you get the darkness. So if we miss it because of the clouds, just hang on. Next April's much better.
Oh, that's a bummer. All right, yeah. Scott, sports is coming up, Frank.
We had a thrilling baseball playoff game tonight. We have the Blues headed to Texas and SLU unveiling a spectacular building.
The Sports Desk is sponsored by Jim Butler Chevrolet, the Midwest's #1 Chevy dealer 10 years running.
As the Cardinals and President John Mozeliak watch the postseason and look at pitchers they used to have or could have, let me remind you of an interesting twist of fate. Remember this moment from 2011? The Cardinals beat the Phillies in the NLDS. The Birds went to 5 straight postseasons and 2 World Series after this. The Phillies were playoffless for a decade. Last year, the Phillies swept the Cardinals and went to the World Series, and the Cardinals finished in last place. And the Philadelphia story rolls on, facing the Braves in Game 2 tonight. And the formula of winning is not complicated. Get yourself a big dog and let him hunt, like Zach Wheeler, 6 1/3 innings, 10 Ks, and 2 earned runs. And get yourself some sluggers like JT Realmuto, who hit it out in the 3rd, and the Phillies led it 3-0. However, in the bottom of the 8th, Austin Riley provided the biggest hit of the year for the Braves, a 2-run shot. Atlanta evens the series with a 5-4 victory. So I love the way the Blues treat their players. They got on a plane to Frisco, Texas today to bond, practice each day, play golf, and eat some fabulous food. Kind of like the old days of Sports Plus, when Mike Bush would take the entire sports department to Bonanza before a big show. Blues general manager Doug Armstrong watching his opening day roster work out this morning at Centene. Now this team is gearing up for Thursday's opener in Dallas. Kevin Hayes is fitting in with his new team. He was on a line with Jacob Verana and Sammy Blais today, and he thinks familiarity with them will evolve into solid chemistry.
Preseason's preseason. You can feel good about your game, but the games that are coming up are going to be a lot harder, a lot tougher, a lot more work. And I think everyone knows that. And as a group and as a line specifically, we want to help this team win, and I think we enjoy playing with one another. And I think it's a good sign if you stick with the same guys for a while.
Head to SLU for the grand opening of the O'Loughlin Family Champion Center, a big crowd to celebrate a state-of-the-art 27,000 square foot facility, which cost about $20 million. Athletic Director Chris May and businessman Bob O'Loughlin, among others, who did good work here to improve the lives of over 400 student athletes. Let's go inside now and take a look. Let's begin with the Coleman Family Fueling Station. All the health bars and health drinks for athletes open from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. The Keith Phoenix Team Dining Room is a site where all the squads can have their pregame meals. The Centene Corporation Student Success Suite is a place where athletes can study, get tutoring, and get career services. The Jim Kavanaugh Billiken Victory Room is a place for coaches to finish off the recruiting process with athletes and their families when they're on a visit to SLU. Dr. Shavitz sponsored the basketball offices for the women and the men. Travis Ford has an office that would make J.R. Ewing proud. How about the Floyd and Judith Crowder Technology Suites for basketball, where the players can watch game film in luxury? And we have the Joe and Area Conrad Hall of Champions, where the winning teams will be celebrated forever.
We flew all over the country looking at programs and looking at projects to find out what does a best-in-class facility look like. And it kept growing and growing, and now today we're here to celebrate the grand opening of the O'Loughlin Family Champion Center. We believe it puts our student athletes and coaches in a position unlike many.
It sets a standard for the university and what kind of a program that it's going to be. And they walk into a building like this and they're so impressed that they know it's high standards, that the school cares, the coaches care, and they're going to be well taken care of.
Really an awesome building, and that will do it in sports.
All right, Frank, thanks.
And the Blues dropped the puck on a new season Saturday, but tonight the clock is ticking for you to score a deal on tickets. We're now about 3.5 hours away from Amazon's second Prime Day event of this year. Big Deal Days kicks off at 2 a.m. St. Louis time. Amazon promises deep discounts for Prime members on electronics, toys, home, fashion, and beauty. Shoppers can also find deals from small businesses.
You have about 90 minutes to save on tickets to Blues games. The note, drop the puck on a new season this Saturday. And to celebrate, the team is dropping all service processing and delivery fees on ticket sales. But you have to act fast. The offer will end at 11:59 p.m.
Here's a delicious deal lasting all week long. It's Taco Week in St. Louis. Dozens of area restaurants are serving up taco specials for just $5. Taco Week runs through Sunday, and we have more information on all the participating restaurants on KSDK.com.
So tomorrow's Taco Tuesday, but there's also Taco Wednesday,
Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next.
Start your day with Today in St. Louis beginning at 4 a.m. and have a great tomorrow.